So you booked the trip to Thailand, you came here to uproot your life, but the reality is there is a good chance that you might want to move back. So this video is going to tackle 7 of the reasons that I have heard and I have seen people make for moving back to the US after spending some time here and yeah, just deciding it's not for them. So let's get right into it. Number one, the honeymoon phase pretty much wears off. It is very easy to over romanticize the idea of another place without actually thinking about the practical everyday things that it would require of you to live there. And maybe there are things in the US that you are very comfortable and used to that things just don't operate the same way in Thailand. And it's not to say that there isn't convenience here. I actually feel like I live a more convenient life in Thailand, but the convenience here is more accessible and affordable for my health and well-being than it was in the US. But of course, when something is new and novel, it's going to feel like you're looking through Bangkok or Thailand with rose-colored lens, and you might not see things for the reality of what they are. You might not understand the air quality until you actually experience it. There's a thing called burning season where the air pollution gets pretty bad. And you see a lot of people that live in Asia wear masks. This was before COVID. Like masks were just a part of everyday life in many Asian countries. And it's oftentimes because of the air pollution and air quality. So I think you also might come here thinking that I'm kind of on vacation. And it's really hard to hold space for the part of you that is a functioning adult with responsibilities and bills and work and money to be made. And the other part of you that feels like you're in this exotic foreign land where every day is an adventure and you can kind of do whatever you want. And you can definitely get away with living like that for a while. And then life kind of catches up to you and you realize that you have to get serious again. So the honeymoon phase for most people can last anywhere from 6 months to a year. And then after that, and I would even say earlier than that, it just depends, you know? But if you don't take the time to acclimate and find your people, the honeymoon phase could wear off in a month. Like it can come and go really fast. So it's going to defer, but I've definitely heard people say that, once they realized the everyday life of how things are run versus what they were used to and what they're comfortable doing, they had to end up moving back. And I don't want you to also think of these people as failures or quitters. The biggest thing that I always applaud people for doing is just trying. When you take the leap, there is no guarantee of success or happiness with anything. Life is literally one big leap, and you have to decide, what am I willing to pursue? What am I willing to go to my deathbed not having done? And if you want to be able to say you tried living abroad, even if you don't stay abroad, it's still something that most people could never and would never do for themselves because of their fear, doubts, and anxiety. So definitely don't take any of these reasons as a loss. Okay. Number two is the culture shock comes in waves, not just all at once. So people might end up moving back to the US because there's so much that they have to get used to that they weren't ready to experience. And it just maybe never stops. Where every day essentially can feel like you have a culture shock moment. Even now, where I talked about how Her Majesty Queen Mother Sirikit had passed away over the weekend, and watching everyone outside wear black. And Bangkok right now is a very somber place. And if you are respecting of Thai culture and Thai people, you'll recognize that now is not the time to be super bubbly and joyful. And yes, you'll still see people having conversations and laughing, but you want to be mindful that we're in a country that's collectively mourning, and that mourning period can last up to a year. And I mentioned in a previous video how in my Nigerian culture with my parents, I learned that widows are expected to wear black and shave their head, and that could last up to a year as well. So different cultures take the mourning period very different. And I remember just having been in Bali where I actually caught myself in a couple funeral processions and they were celebrations. It very much looked like a party and a celebration of life. So understand that death is different and many things are different in different cultures. And I also think I wouldn't call it a culture shock because it's not Thai culture, it's just the way things are here. I don't know if it's a Thai thing, is what I'm saying. But seeing a lot of white North American men who come here specifically for the women, young women, and lady boys, seeing that constantly can also be a bit of a culture shock, especially if you don't think the girl, well, I mean, Asians, they say Asians never Asian. Asian women always tend to look younger than they actually are. So you might feel compelled in your, I don't know, where you grew up or your nature of wanting to help protect and save women, but you might be compelled to like walk up to a man who looks like he's in his 80s with a young woman who might look like she's barely 20, and you might feel the need to say something. But the culture here is very much live and let live. And I think Thai people collectively are so accepting that there is no judgment of that. And that could be a shock for you. And maybe that's something that you wouldn't be comfortable seeing. It's not everywhere, but it definitely exists. So that could be something that's a bit hard to get used to as well. Um, I also realized that with Thai culture, and maybe this is a few Asian countries, there is a level of politeness and respect and a lack of directness. Well, I guess it depends on the context. I'm learning in the real estate market, people are very direct. But, you know, if something needs to be said, they're very polite and calm, and they'll have a roundabout way of saying things because it's like their priority is your comfort, and they want to make sure they're not shaming you or making you feel bad. And for example, I walked out of a massage place where you know how they give you shower caps for your hair? Not shower caps, but hair nets. And I'm at the cashier paying, still got the hairnet on my head. And the owner, I know it took everything in him. He was so, I could tell he was fighting to say something, but I couldn't tell what he was trying to say. And I just took it as a moment of, things being lost in translation, or, I didn't know what he was trying to say, but he just bowed and he said, so sorry. You still have, would you please like to take it off? Said it in a way where he's like, maybe this is your culture and maybe this is what you intended to do, but just in case it's not, let me know that you're about to walk out of the salon with a hairnet. Plastic. And it was so precious. But again, that moment, just such a just a beautiful interaction and depiction of how much they just respect people and want to make sure people are very taken care of. Okay, third reason why some Americans move back, maybe after a year, is they feel a lack of long-term stability. Maybe they didn't find the community that they thought they wanted. They started to miss maybe going to MLB games or NFL games. They found that there was just too much to manage in terms of everyday life, whether it's, eating food. Maybe you miss cooking. You could still cook here, of course, but maybe the effort required to go grocery shopping and get the things that you're used to getting, maybe that takes a little bit more and you no longer have it in you to go that extra effort and you just want familiar again. I think it's very easy to kind of get lost in the hustle and bustle of a big city. As much as Bangkok calms me and reflects my own creativity, I think it still can be a place that can be overstimulating and overwhelming for someone that is looking for a peaceful escape. Thailand as a whole, as a country, is a very peaceful place, but maybe Chiang Mai would be more suited for you, or Koh Samui. But Bangkok in itself, Bangkok. You know how you say a word enough times, it starts to sound questionable? I mean, the city, that word itself is very questionable. Bangkok. Okay, back on track. Um, yeah, maybe you're coming here and you're searching, but you don't know what you're searching for. And so maybe it causes this angst and this bit of restlessness. And so you never feel like you are finding your answer. And so that could cause people to, want to not really stay here long term, as well as visas. Maybe you didn't opt for the DTV visa, the DTV visa. That's the 5-year visa that allows you to stay as a digital nomad. Paperwork is pretty straightforward. You just have to prove you have $15,000 in your bank account. And yeah, it grants you multiple entry. You can come and go as you please. But if you don't opt for that path, it means every 60 days you have to exit the country and return. We call these visa runs or border runs. If that feels more anxiety ridden than exciting, then yeah, Bangkok or Thailand might not make sense. For me, I see that as an opportunity to travel to local places and be like, yeah, I'm going to go to Vietnam for the weekend, or I'm going to go to Hong Kong and hang out, or I have a friend in Singapore or Korea. I'm going to check out Japan for a week. Like that ability excites me because having lived in the US, that's a long flight. It's an expensive ticket. Like you just feel the world is so much more accessible when you're living outside of the US. So to me, visa runs and border runs are exciting, but I definitely I can understand if that just causes someone else anxiety. Okay, the fourth reason some people don't stay in Thailand long term is the cost of belonging. You might feel like you're going to try to learn the language as much as you can, which I absolutely recommend. I'll drop the website where I am learning Thai. It's called preply.com, but I think I have like a 70% discount code for your first lesson. And it takes a lot of effort. Like Thai is my fifth language and it's hard. I can feel my brain exhausted trying to remember vocabulary and syntax and grammar and cases. And it takes a lot out of you. And so you have to make a concerted effort to not just learn it, but remember it and study it. So if you are doing your best to learn the language, but on a day-to-day basis, you still find yourself not being able to communicate, that can get old pretty quick. And as much as Bangkok is an international city and it's super global, super advanced, I kind of respect that the Thai people, they're not forced to speak English. And, some popular places know enough, but they're mostly speaking Thai. So you could point and charade your way through, but understand if the idea of learning another language and understanding another culture gives you anxiety, Thailand might not make sense long term. It might be something that again is gives you a little bit more anxiety versus excitement about the prospect of learning another language. A fifth reason why some Americans don't stay long term is they honestly just start missing home and family. All of us have different circumstances, but if you were used to hanging out with your nieces every weekend or going to, local parties, local events, your school's homecoming, your friends are getting married, like there are things happening and your friends are moving on with their life. And if you start to feel like you're missing out on major events, because you're now a major ocean away from them, that can make you start to internalize a feeling of loneliness. And then you'll start to unintentionally isolate while you're here. And then you feel really disconnected from community in two ways, one geographically and one spiritually. You're here, but you're not actually here. So I do understand sometimes that comes in waves. I even had that feeling in the first 2 months that I was here. There was so much possibility, and still I was like, well, what do I do with it? Who do I meet? Where do I go? Where do people meet people? I didn't know where to start. And it was just an overwhelming thing to think about making friends again, because it almost felt like I was dating platonically. It's like, please like me. I think I like you. Okay, let's hang out again. And okay, you're busy. It's that same adult dance of how frequently should new friends hang out to establish a mutual rapport that doesn't feel overwhelming for either party. So being an adult sometimes can be so vulnerable because we're all just trying to navigate adulthood the best we can. We're all trying to make friends and build community and find our purpose and just, our mental health. There's so many factors. So if you start to feel like you're not finding your people or you're missing birthdays and holidays, that can exacerbate the feeling of loneliness and it can make you want to return home. Okay, two more. Sixth thing that makes people want to head back is the pace no longer matches what you were looking for. So there is, interestingly enough, this is happening today. So I'm getting internet installed at my next condo, and they call me 7 times to confirm the time of late. Like this morning, it was like 8 a.m. And I see all these missed calls. So transparently, I have 3 phones. I'm trying to consolidate, but I don't know how we got here. I have my Android phone, which has been my main phone that I've had for 15 years plus. It's like that is my personal phone. All of my closest friends and family have that number. And then I got a business phone, which is more for content creation. And when I started to need my number for business purposes, I didn't want them having my personal number. So the business number allowed for a little bit of separation, and I could use this for business purposes. And then my Thai phone, coming here and getting a Thai number, it just helps. You sometimes need it to register for certain apps. And again, because I've explained in another video that I don't upgrade my phones, I just keep them. And even when Apple says that they can buy back your old phones, I'm like, no, it's nice to have a backup device. So when I was given a free upgrade, I was asked if I wanted to give back my old one to get money back, and I was like, "No, it's let me just have a backup just in case." So that backup is my Thai phone, which kind of punny, right? Get it? iPhone, Thai phone. I came up with that and I'm very proud. Okay, so that's my Thai phone. So my Thai phone stays on silent, stays on do not disturb because I only really need it for registration and data. So they called that number all these times, confirming that they would be coming at 2 p.m. And I was like, oh, you could have just told me the time. I let you all know that I was available all day. You could have just said that you're coming at 2 p.m. So sometimes the protocol can feel excessive. You're like, oh, okay, that's fine. So it's almost like on the two extremes. On one hand, it's super laid back. Things can feel really laid back. And on the other hand, things can feel um, not extreme, but like just bureaucratic, if you will. And they have a phrase, "might been lie," if you want to say it casually, "might been lie," oh, might been lie, which is no worries, all good, no, everything's chill. And I find myself having to say that often when I'm overwhelmed with their steps. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing my best. And yeah, I think there's a balance, right? I think if you're in the business space and you're doing business marketing, it can feel like everything is hustle and bustle because at the end of the day, Bangkok is still a big city. And last but not least, the last reason that people return back to the US after giving Bangkok a shot or Thailand a shot is that they start to feel like their family or their parents are aging or there are major life transitions happening back home that they want to be present for. Even though Bangkok and Thailand in general has world-class, state-of-the-art health facilities, this is a beautiful place to retire, honestly. You have top-notch services, affordable rates, everything is humane. But at the same time, if it's your family members that are going through life transitions, you feel almost responsible to be present for that and then just to also not be too far away because you don't want to think about getting a phone call and you having to board a 22-hour flight to get back to New York. So it's tough to think about that in the back of your mind, being so far away physically from people who might be um, yeah, just having issues with their health. So I think it's important to just accept that you can love and respect Thailand deeply without feeling like you need to stay here for longer than a season. So whatever your need is, Thailand can accommodate it. It's a big reason why I'm getting these multiple condos so that for the people that want to try out Thailand for a month or 2 weeks, they can. And for those that are interested in that, you can go to the link in my description. We're starting an 8-week community for the people that are wanting to transition here. And I'm only opening up my condos to people who are in that community because I want to feel like I get to know y'all. And when you come here, I can greet you and I can walk you through the systems and make you feel as acclimated as possible. Because I take this seriously because I understand how lonely I felt doing it by myself. And so I don't want other people who are taking this big step to feel what I did. So that's that. Um, yeah, y'all, that's all I got. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any other ideas about what I should make a video about regarding moving to Bangkok or Thailand. If you're new here, my name is Glo. I've been to 100 countries and decided to call Bangkok, Thailand my home. I have been loving the journey so far, and I'm just grateful that I get to share what I'm experiencing in real time on a daily basis. So You can check out this link for more information about ways to work with me. I have a workshop coming up to help you with the first 3 steps to get out of the US. This is really practical and powerful, so I highly recommend it. And over here for yesterday's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.